All right, good evening, everyone. I'd like to call today's meeting to order. So it's like the July 15, 2026 Franklin Township Board of Supervisors meeting to order at, looks like 7 o'clock, so we're pretty much on time. In attendance are Chair Donna D, that's me, Vice Chair Jim Johnston, Supervisors Don Dowling, and Tia Consorto, and Nancy Widows. Also in attendance are Solicitor, it's Melissa, right, Reinstead? And Township Operation Manager Jeff Eastburn, Township Control and Office Manager Melissa Ortega, and our Secretary Stacy Hollis. And there are 5 members of the public. So if we could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So let's start the meeting off with public comments. Remind everyone, the board welcomes public comments relating to tonight's action items, so it has to be an agenda item that you're going to make a public comment on. Commenters must state your name and whether you're a resident of the township or a non-resident taxpayer in the township. If you do not identify yourself, your comments will not be included in the official minutes. Each resident or non-resident taxpayer will have one opportunity to make a public comment on one of these action items. Comments should be directed to the board and not to any individual board members or members of the staff. The board will refrain from addressing your comments as they are being expressed, but instead, at our discretion, may comment at the end of the public comment section or at a time the action item is discussed during the meeting. Our silence should not be viewed as agreement with what is being said. So is anyone interested in making public comments? All right, so hearing none, I'll move to the next item on the agenda, and that's approving our minutes. So I want to make a motion that the board approve the June 17th, 2026 Board of Supervisor meeting minutes. Can I have a second for that? And that's from Tia. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. Okay, it's approved 5-0.
Melissa Ortega is here to give the treasurer's report.
The June 2026 Treasurer's Report includes the following disbursements. The general fund with disbursements and transfers of $105,584.22. The Park and Rec Fund with disbursements of $8,522.82. The Open Space Fund with disbursements of $4,800.08. The Capital Reserve Fund with disbursements of $0. The Emergency Services Fund with disbursements of $93,640.88. The Fire Hydrant Fund with disbursements of $560.60. And the Wastewater Treatment Plant Fund with disbursements of $0, leaving a balance in all funds totaling $3,842,785.83.
Thank you, Melissa. So I'll make a motion that the board approve the June 2026 treasury report as presented by Melissa Ortega. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Nancy. Any discussion? All right, all in favor? Say aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Moving on, we have the zoning report from June 2026. In the month of June, 14 permits were issued, $1,189.02 in permit fees were collected, and 21 inspections were performed. The Planning Commission did not meet this month, so there's no report there.
We're going to move on to the solicitor's report with Melissa.
Good evening, all. I hope you can hear me okay. Hi.
Hello.
I appreciate your time this evening and thank you for letting me participate virtually. I have 2 updates, the first of which is on Keene Trail. That matter is currently underway. We are in the process of scheduling a meeting to have this matter move forward. Mr. Donatelli and I are working on scheduling meetings with council and the landowners so that we may discuss further.
So just to remind you, I know Jeff's going to want to be there, I want to be there, so you are going to, just make sure you loop us in, so some of the board members want to be there. All right, thanks.
Absolutely. We will loop you in on those communications once a date is decided upon, to make sure both you're available and Jeff is available as well. Secondary update is the update on the draft data center ordinance. Mr. Donatelli is working on preparing an update to that ordinance and finish drafting it itself. Due to some updates that are occurring with the county and ordinances that are coming out, there are some final changes that we want to make to the draft data ordinance, so that we're comfortable bringing it out to the township so that they may review. So we're hoping to have that to the Planning Commission on August 6th. So that is the current time schedule for that. Does the board have any questions about the data center ordinance and the drafting of it thus far?
Well, I actually, when is the PC meeting? It's August 6th, right?
I'm looking at my calendar.
Because it.
So I did talk with Melissa and asked her to have her firm provide that to us no later than July 30th, so we can put that in the books.
Right, it's just so you know, Melissa, they got to have a chance to look at it before the meeting. No.
Sure. Absolutely. I think we intend to have it to the township early, but the first that it will be discussed in public will be the August 6th meeting.
Right, just as long as they get it in July, before the meeting, that's the important part. Okay, great.
Absolutely. Thank you. That's all I have for this evening.
Thank you, Melissa.
All right, so now we're going to look at some committee reports. And just to note that the Historical Architectural Review Board did not meet this month, so there's no report. So I know you're busy doing lots of other stuff. We'll keep you busy. So I just want to provide an update on the fire company consolidation that we've been talking about probably since the beginning of the year. I think we started in February. So as a reminder, the fire companies, both West Grove and Avondale, have agreed to consolidate into one fire company. They are working on that process, and T and I attended a meeting last night with the municipalities are involved with these fire companies. And we had good news that their consolidation is moving along very well. And they hope to have it done by September. Their target was beginning of next year, but things are going so well that they hope to have it done by the fall. So that's that. With that being said, at last night's meeting, it was clear that a governance model, that the governance models that we were talking about, remember there was 3 models that we were talking about. We're talking about an enhanced status quo model, we were talking about a commission model, and we were talking about an authority model. And we were still gathering information on what these models looked like and what are those pros and cons. But there was a general understanding by the group of the municipalities that it's just not enough time for us to make that kind of an agreement in terms of what model we want to use in the future. And so an idea was put in front of the committee to say, what about, let's go, for right now, let's get into an interim agreement between the municipalities and use that interim agreement to have a governance model, very simple. I think you look at it as a simplistic model. It's not a commission model, it's not a authority model, but it's a model that has representatives from the municipalities interacting with the fire companies so we understand what their budget issues are, what their expenses are, what their future costs would be. And so that is being worked on. I can't present it to you today, but I can tell you that we are working on an interim solution that would last for about 2 years. So we could have that in place as a governance model once the fire companies consolidated, and then during that 2 years, continue to work on the commission model and the authority model, or whatever other options are out there to see what makes sense, because none of us wanted to rush into a decision. So I think this is a good way forward. We started talking about it last night, where we talked about it would be for about 2 years. It would be representatives, would have people appointed by the board, either on the board or appointed by the board. Each member would have a vote. So we're starting to get those elements together. I don't want to get into the specifics today until I have a document to present to the board, and we should have that by hopefully within a week. My goal, if everyone's in agreement, that we have a workshop meeting in August, that we take that workshop meeting to be the opportunity to talk about the model. And of course, the public is always welcomed. We'll get the information out. I don't know, how would we make it out to the public? We could put it out there might be a way we could get the information out to the public, what this thing looks like. Yeah, we can put it on the website so you can see it.
Website, Facebook.
And then at the meeting, it's a Monday, the first Monday in August, we'll come back and talk about it. The plan is that we, as a group, our board will talk about it. We'll collect comments, listen to the public, and then we go back in August, what is it, 8th? There's a meeting or maybe the 15th. There's a meeting in August with the municipalities. We'll bring back our comments. No, August 6th. So then our workshop meeting is August 2nd or something. It's earlier. Oh, 3rd. Okay. All right. So then, great. So then we'll go back to on 6, we'll go back as the holding municipalities. We'll all bring our comments in. We'll look at the interim agreement, hopefully knock it out, and then bring back a document that we can have the board approve. And then that's what we'll work on. That will be what our process is for 2 years. Now, on the other hand, in parallel, we have a fire company that's working right now and is and has promised to give us their draft budget for next year. That also should be coming in the next week or so. So that will give us a sense of what they're looking at in terms of any kind of increases in revenue for any kind of increases in what we need to pay them for next year. So that's also going in parallel. That information will be available. I don't know if we'll talk about it at the workshop meeting. We'll see what time we have, but definitely in the meeting in August, we'll be able to present that to the board and to the public and talk about their budget in terms of what they're planning, if we have any questions or that we need to have addressed. So my sense is that things are moving forward, but they're not. I don't feel like we're being rushed anymore. I think we're being deliberate. We're taking our time. This interim agreement, I think, will help us to just stabilize and gather more information as we try to learn about the authority model and the commission model. I thought it was interesting that last night's meeting, I wasn't aware of this, that the authority model has never been used for a fire company before. That was something that became very obvious, very evident to people, that it has been used for emergency services, but not for fire companies. And there was some questions at members of the municipalities if it's even legal to do, but we'll like I said, we'll have a period of time to figure all this out, but at least we'll have some kind of governance model in place to help with the fire companies. Any questions from the board?
Yeah, Donna, for the interim period, the one question I have, I know we're going to talk about it in August, but did they speak about the level of authority that the townships will have?
So how it will work was based on the draft, man, we have to still view it, but that each of the townships or municipalities, there's 10 of us plus one, that they'll each have a representative, and that's the one that the board will appoint, and then an alternate. And both those people will they're allowed to go to the meetings. And so that way, if the representative can't make something, the alternate will be all up to speed and will be able to work in there. Also, what they talked about is say there was a topic coming up in a conversation where you needed your finance guy, we could bring Melissa. She wouldn't have a vote, but she would be there to support us. Or maybe we need a lawyer. We could bring the other Melissa. So that there's the ability to bring the people in that you need. And I almost forgot the most important thing. This is, and Tia did this. Those meetings, when we, in the interim analysis, in the interim agreement, those meetings will be public meetings. So part of it is agreeing to meet publicly with the fire companies to talk about the budget. Those meetings will be open to the public. So, they'll be advertised and they'll know that this is coming. So this is in the interim agreement. I don't want to get too far. It was still draft. We still need to bring it here to talk about and then bring it back and be agreed and have people sign off. But it is hopefully moving towards a more transparent policy in the future, or at least for the
So
teams.
the key is that each municipality or township will have a vote for all rules for what's coming.
Correct.
Whatever
Right.
we decide.
Because it's interesting because this is actually should be everything's relative, right? A relatively simple interim agreement. And every, but when you actually do the thing for whatever it is that's going to be the permanent thing, that's going to have bylaws and this law and that law, and it gets really complicated. But I also thought it was a good news too. Each of us use these fire companies to a different, based on our population. Our vote, we each get a vote. So whether we have, whether our population, we're about 10%. There's other groups that are 20%, 15%. We're all equal, which I was happy about. We're not getting anything where, well, you only get 3/4 of a vote and we get 1.5 votes. So I thought, and no one even talked about it being like, we're more important than you are, so you have to listen to us. So, right.
We did discuss that during that short-term agreement, the 2 to 3 year short-term agreement, the funding model stays the same.
Yes.
So all the way that we're paying the fire company now will be the way we continue to pay the fire company. But now instead of us doing it by ourselves, when we discuss the budgets with the fire company, we now have the other 10 municipalities with us discussing it all at once. So we don't have a situation like we did last year where they come with a crazy number and we have to push back and feel like we're doing it by ourselves. Now we have all the other municipalities with us, holding them accountable and going through the budget line by line. But again, the funding stays the same. So the money will come out of the same bank, that it comes from now.
And the same formula, but it doesn't, because this will also be another, I know it's interesting, you have to do the interim now, which we want to do quickly. But when we finally solve the whatever it is for the future, the funding is going to be a major discussion.
Yes.
Does it stay the same? Does it change? How do you modify it? Who do you charge? So I think the reality hit us all. There's nothing, we cannot do this quickly. It's going to take years to get this right. So I think that was very pragmatic. I know you all have public comments at the end if you want to say something about the fire company. Okay. Yeah, it just seemed like, oh, thank goodness, like reality's finally hitting people, because we kept on coming back to, we went to a part of the meeting where they said, okay, tell me what authority, what kind of a governance model you're interested in. And we went around the table and they're like, we don't know enough. We don't know enough about this. We need more information. And to that end, we actually going to have somebody from PSATs come at our next meeting and talk to us about the various models. So we're gathering information, continuing to bring information in so that we make a good decision when the time comes. But as I said before, I always look at what the positive is. The fire, we have our interim. The interim is going to take care of us for next year. But even this year, we're gonna meet, hopefully July or August, with the fire companies. There's no agreement or anything. We're just doing it to talk about the budget. So we're going to start getting some best practice in place now, because we have to. We want to get some control. We want to know why they're spending what they're spending and why they're asking for what they're asking. And I think this is going to give an opportunity for us to drill down into what's going on with them. All right. Any other questions? All right.
I was just going to say, they did mention that Medic 94 has a meeting at the end of the month to go over their budgeting. And the fire companies will have public meetings to go over their budgeting. And anyone can go. You don't have to be a supervisor from a municipality. So if you're interested, the public can go to these open meetings and listen to them and have a back and forth with a fire company yourself. So it'll give you guys the opportunity to talk to them as well directly about their budget instead of, going through us.
Antia, where can people see where those meetings are?
From what I understand, Medic 94 and the fire company are going to put them on their websites. They'll have I think on their calendars, they'll have a list of when the public meetings will be. And supposedly we're going to get emails about it.
Yeah.
We can put that out there as well.
I would just ask Jeff and Melissa, please look, you have your contacts, find out what you find out and let us know and get it on the website.
Yeah, I'll make a note in my date book to look, and then I'll try to mirror that on ours as best I can.
I wondered if PSATs is coming at our August 3rd meeting, the workshop meeting.
No, PSATs is coming to the fire commission meeting when all the municipalities get together. So they'll be at the August 6th meeting for us. And then once we get this interim agreement in place, after that interim agreement is in place, that's when the meetings will be open to the public.
Will we have an interim agreement to look at on before August 3rd or?
That's the plan. That's the plan.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's, you guys have been at these meetings before where the person putting it together says, oh, this is a piece, I've done this a million times. I've done a million of them. It's just got to press it together. I should have it in a couple days. So we're told we should have it by the end of the week, not this week, yeah, then next week. And then we get it to you guys and then we talk about it at the, and if not, then then they're going to be in trouble because for me.
That's just a preliminary budget, not an interim plan.
So we're talking about two different things.
Yeah,
but both
what
at the
is
same
that?
time. Okay, so
What is that?
two different things are happening. So the interim agreement, we should get that by the end of the week. Okay, and that would be the thing that we get to the board and we talk about it at the workshop meeting. Also, in parallel, the fire company has promised to us, now they said in a couple of days, we'll say that we will have their budget preliminary draft for 2027 within a week. And that's another thing that either we talk about at the workshop meeting if we have time, but definitely at the August board meeting. Okay. And the goal is, what I love about this, it's not like it's just going to come to us and then it's like, here it is. Let me dump it on your desk. Good luck. Pay the bill. Then there will be a meeting scheduled that we can attend and have a dialogue with the fire company on the budget. So you will be that back and forth.
Just us?
All the
It'll be a
municipalities. Yeah. Clear, but any other questions? I'm excited. I thought it was a really good meeting last night. Okay. Hey, Dawn, this is your baby.
Okay, well, boy, I'll tell you, I went into the summer with a boatload of stuff on the plate, and the weather has really been my nemesis this year, as you can well imagine. So the first thing we tried to start out with was art in the park, and of course it got rained out that day because we were doing a solar thing with plants and pictures. Then the second thing we started was the first time for the first week at story time, and we had a heat advisory. So the kids ended up back at the library. However, last Friday, we went to the went to the park, and I don't know whether you all heard, there were over 50 people at the last story time. It was packed. So we had a ball. Mark Zawada brought his 4 grandkids. We just had a rip-roaring time, and they all played on the equipment before and after. And I will give Jeff a shout out because I got there and they're putting new roofs on the buildings and I'm like, oh no, because we had problems with the mowing. And I went over and I said, who's in charge? And the guy says, I am. And he says, I know. We've already moved everything away. Everything's fine. We know you're here. Da da da. It was beautiful. So anyway, so we have story time again this Friday. And then, of course, on Saturday, we're supposed to have our solar day. It's supposed to thunderstorm. So David, the director of the library, and Roger Kennedy, the NASA super scientist, and I have speed dial each other, and we're supposed to make the call tomorrow morning. And if we make the call, they can do it on August 22nd, which is the day after our nighttime solar thing, which should work, should be fine. So everything's okay with that. So then we move on. While I've been out of commission, I have been talking to Ruth Ann about our Lenni Lenape program, so that's still in the works. Joey Giordano, as we were supposed to meet with him tomorrow, but we had to reschedule the meeting for next Thursday, which is fine, but he's scheduled to put the boxes up before the end of July, we hope. So then we will talk about programs. I can either get a little baby program or an adult program or both. So that brings us then on to the garden. And I have a huge thank you to shout out to everybody who did the BT for me while I was away, and Ann and Betsy and Antia and Stacy and all of the Master Garden ladies. And I guess Peg Freeze was a big hit. She was a she's the bee person, and I'm hoping we can reincarnate that next year maybe, because I think people will really appreciate her program that she has. And this is about native bees. This isn't about bees and beehives. This is our native bees, which are very, very important. And meanwhile, while I was out of commission, I understand there was a lot of activity that has gone over in the garden, and I can't wait to see it. And I think I have a big thank you to Jim and Antia and all of her little helpers that have been over there in the garden weeding and cleaning. And Donna was over there, but I was going to say, I can't thank you guys enough because I've been so overwhelmed with everything. And then our fall program will be our plant swap. And I've already talked to people in the West Grove Garden Facebook page, and they're excited about it. And I've already gotten people promising me they're going to bring plants to that. And then I'm thinking we can have Ruth Ann there, and I'm going to talk to her, Nancy, about having the table for the Indian stuff there. And maybe I can have Roger Kennedy come back like he did for the BT. He came and told everybody how the bugs see things. And so we could have a little enclave of people up at the plant swap for the 250th. And then we have music on Friday, September 25th. And by that time, we should be really tired after all of our fun that we're having. So that puts us right in the lap of the 250th.
Before we go to the 250th, though, I just want to ask Jeff to help me out with this, because if people have been to Crossan Park, there's this beautiful hedge that is there, but as hedges go, they get bigger and bigger and bigger. And we were, through Jeff's leadership, we worked with Tim Sipple and Mark Thompson, right? Do I get my names right? Matt. I mean, if you guys, you know how hot it's been. These guys were spending the whole day working on doing the roof. Matt came later, but it's just a tremendous amount of work that they did. You're speechless to see these guys just doing it out of the kindness of their heart. They brought their equipment. I don't think the FSA could have done it if they wanted to. It was insane, right? It was just insane. But that was your idea to use that equipment. They got up on whatever that thing is, and yeah, it's just incredible amount of what they had to cut. But it looks beautiful, Dawn. I can't wait till you see it. But I just want to say thank you to all of them for giving us the time. There was some Amishmen, I don't know their name, but some of Tim's people, they worked till they almost fainted from working too hard. So they just worked and worked and worked and worked. And we really can't say thank you enough.
Are they done with all the roofs?
And they did an absolutely beautiful job on the cupolas that they rebuilt for us. They're gorgeous, and the roofs look great. So
So the pavilion and the brick building and the,
Yeah, the cupolas are slightly different. They're gorgeous, but there wasn't much left of either one of those. The paint and the stain was holding them together. So we'll be good for another 25 years with those.
it sounds like we're getting ready for that 250th anniversary party.
Melissa, would you want to walk through what we've got that came in after this report? I think there were two 500s. What?
So 2 checks came in after I sent wait a second, I'm confused. So 2 checks came in that I actually deposited today. A vendor from the bus company and a sponsor for 1723 Vineyard, which leaves a total of $5,950.
I'm confused. Is the 5,900, I'm looking at the sheet of paper you're giving us. Is that?
Yeah.
I don't have what you have.
I thought that the 500, so 1,000.
That's why I just want to give one report
Yeah, 'cause
instead of confusing. I would prefer just to stick to the.
Oh, okay. So we're at 5,425 as a balance.
Correct, and I'll send the next update to you probably tomorrow or Friday, because it gets too confusing, so I'm.
What's wrong? Yeah, right. So basically. that's what-
Okay. And just a quick question. That's money that hasn't been spent yet. Nothing has been spent, right? Okay.
This is the general, the event one, the reimburse the general fund, and then this was an expense for half of the, stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good, thank you very much. So in the way of update, we have submitted an application to PICO for 2,500. The breakout is, $900 for pumpkins, 500 for Bob's band. My understanding is they did not get paid in 24, but they've requested 500 to perform this time in the afternoon. 700 for the Lenape Brass Ensemble. Oh, I'm sorry. No, that's good, tell me. So 900 for the pumpkins, 500 for Bob's band to perform in the afternoon, 700 for the Lenape Brass Ensemble for the morning music, and 400 for American flags and decor. So we hope to hear from them before long. I know that they have received it and are reviewing it. So,
Yeah, I just want to note that that's what you've asked them
Mhm.
for, but we as a board have not agreed to the Lenape band yet. That's still,
No.
yeah, right. And that's
but
fine.
that's part of this funding
Right,
request. So I
right.
hope that they're able to come through. We'll see. Paul, do you want to talk about
So,
who you contacted?
yeah, so sorry.
Right.
I was trying not to turn it on too early and now I've turned it on too late. So I've been out and about, meeting with, potential sponsors, sort of as a follow-up to, mailings. And, I got some good responses, but, at the moment, there's really only one check that came in. It's not on there. Yeah, that's what Melissa was talking about. That's due to the footwork, if you want to call it that. I will be the next couple days.
I'm sorry. You're whispering in there.
I don't know, it sounds loud to me.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
not for me.
Okay. So the I'm going to do some follow-up the end of this week and in person with the places where I found the most positive response in the hopes to move things along. And then in terms of vendors, I've been talking to a number. The response is not as high as I would like, but I don't think it's all that bad. We've basically got the equivalent of 15 to 16 booths. The majority of those, however, are nonprofits and 2 township organizations, which comes to about 11. We've got 6 vendors with the form I picked up tonight. I was expecting this form. We've only had one out and out cancellation from a vendor. So I am going to be in the process of recontacting all the original vendors just to keep it out there. In most cases, it's by email because that's the information I have in hand. I did also today send out a second round of vendors from names derived from London Britain's festivities. And we'll see what happens with those. Those I did try and address a little more personally, less of a form letter. I'm hoping that that might help. Then food vendors is skimpier than I'd like. We have 3 to 4 food vendors. We basically have 3 food vendors who have all their health forms. There's a question about the 4th, and she's in contact with Hunter Hale, who is the health department person for this district that we're in. I don't know the extent of the districts.
So is that, you think the three, I'm thinking in term worst case, if you just had the three, are we still good? Or is this?
No.
No, okay. You're still
So,
working it, okay.
Today, I went out and emailed additional food vendors because we need to have, I mean, basically right now, what we've got is the cidery, the winery, um, ice cream, and the potential for brownies and cookies. So it would be, I would like to have something a little more substantial. And unfortunately, 22 Barbecue has another commitment. So they can't make it. That's the only one of a out and out negative response I've gotten with respect to that.
We could get the list that Old Stone uses.
Yeah.
They have, I think,
I,
4 or 5.
I don't know who's on that and what, but yes, that's the next step. And I can get in touch with Evan and to see what he can tell me. Um, so, let me just look at this. So yeah, so the emails went out. There's going to be, as I said, sponsor follow-ups, and we've been posting a variety of flyers on the website in an attempt to drum up vendor and volunteer interest, and we'll be coming up with more flyers. We need one for a lookalike contest. We may also do Betsy Ross in addition to Ben Franklin, and we should have enough tickets from Longwood and Winter, and then gift cards from Giant to be able to offer real prizes for the people who participate in this. And I actually have my eye on at least one participant for the Ben Franklin lookalike contest because I know he has the outfit. That's Dave Porter. He's actually one of our, will be one of our nonprofits. He is a Back in Time museum, for those of you who don't know, that is in Elkton, that's focused on Chester County history. And he has a lot of stuff. He brought a lot of postcards oriented to London, Britain when he was at London, Britain, and he should be able to do the same when he's here in September. Yeah, so then I mean, we also have to tally in terms of actual, when we're talking about booze out there, we will undoubtedly have some sponsor booze as well. So it's quite possible that we're already at roughly 20 booths. And the one thing I don't know is how well we're progressing with respect to past practice. Because I don't have any personal history to judge this against. We're doing this on our own. But for the moment, I feel pretty sanguine about the vendors, not so much the food vendors, because they're really far more central in certain ways.
Yeah. Jim has offered to help us out with a list that his company uses from the Kennett area, which is really nearby. So, and I have some in mind too. So.
Yeah, my only concern with that is I learned that the Mushroom Festival is that weekend. But email is free, so I'd be happy to have the list.
See, we'll be doing some new sponsor outreach in the Jennersville area because we haven't really hit up that area, and also some in Newark. We had a commitment, I think, from our law firm, but we haven't received a check yet. And I wondered if somebody would like to volunteer to reach out to Pinoni, somebody who works with, thank you, Jeff, just to follow up. That'd be great to get theirs. Volunteer-wise, the plant swap is taken care of, and the children's table leader is taken care of, and we have 2 others who are interested in helping her. We have Boy Scout Troop 62. That has to be confirmed because they have to have a meeting, and that doesn't happen until August. But they want to help us out with selecting pumpkins, helping the kids with that, and then decorating them. We had very few volunteers from the 24 list that got back to us with, yes, we'd like to do that again. Several said they would like to do that again, like Ken said she would, but she's expecting her first child in the middle of September, so maybe not. So she deferred. So we're working on the volunteer list and that's coming along. We're still looking for a wagon to use. I'm going to give Kenny a call, Kenny Roberts, and just follow up with that and see if he might have one. Publicity, Paul's done some great flyers that have been put out. We'll be doing them for the Ben Franklin and the Betsy Ross lookalike contests and saying what prizes we have to incentivize people to participate, using the PA America 250 logo where we can. Website posts will be shared with the neighboring townships. They've offered to post to their website our event. So that I think will help with participation. Let's see, funding level is going to kind of determine whether we get into yard signs to advertise for the event. We'll see if we have enough to do that. And we'll let local newspapers know about the event so they can put it on their calendar of events and also get some publicity in the local papers. I noticed several townships have had their people with the PA 250 flag from the Chester County Planning Commission. So we could expect one of those at least, and hopefully a short piece on the event itself. And board preparation, read some books, get up on your colonial history. Franklin, yeah, there you go, Betsy. Franklin, with Michael Douglas starring it, is on Netflix, might provide some good stuff. And there are all sorts of books out there. So I hope that we'll all have a really good time. And that's the report. Are there questions?
So I don't have any. Go ahead.
I was just gonna ask where we are with the budget. Have you gotten updated quotes for some of the stuff? Because I know we were going off of numbers from 2024.
So much.
I don't have
Well, I didn't bring that because I thought this is what people would be most interested in.
Okay, I
I
want to
make
make
an adjusted.
Okay, I just wanted to see where we were, because I know on the paper we did get, we need to make sure that we're aware the 62098 has to go back to the general fund because it came out for the postage
Sure.
and all of that. So I just want to make sure that's set aside before any other money is spent, that goes back to the general budget.
Correct, because I consider that spent. Right.
So I wasn't at the last meeting, but I looked at the video, and one of the things I wanted to ask is that the end of this month is like the deadline for the vendors, right? So we'll have is that true or is it floating still?
So actually, from my point of view, the bigger deal is the end of this month is the deadline for the sponsors. And so at least in terms of anybody who is looking to be on the banner, which is a gold sponsor position, we really need to know, because then we have to get started on the banner. So that is going to be something I'm talking about when I go out on my second round of visits. Just so people who are making that kind of contribution are aware that we really need to know what we're doing by the end of the month. As for the vendors, we gave them a deadline of mid-month, which is why we started a whole second round of mailings. We began by focusing on the vendors who had been with us in 2024. And now we've expanded that, as I mentioned, to names that are associated with the London Britain 300th, sorry. So the thing that is, is most concerning, I mean, we can receive money at any time, but if somebody wants to be a gold sponsor, we really need to know by the end of the month.
And that's only to get them on the banner, right? If they can still.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
right.
I'm not going to turn down a large check because we can't put them on the banner. But I would really like to acknowledge people who are making really significant donations. Yeah, no.
And I think that we're doing for sponsors, I think we can expect to have more sponsor funds come in after that date. And we'll try to keep you all apprised of what we actually expect, may come in as opposed to wishful thinking. But we won't spend it until we have it.
And then one last question I had was last month, there was a conversation about who is the approval authority to sign contracts and things like that. Can somebody explain what we agreed to, or did we not agree to anything yet on that?
I think we agreed there's not much left to
Yeah.
sign, and so Nancy was gonna take the hit, but take the signature, but she couldn't sign unless she got the approval from Melissa. Okay.
That's all, thank you.
That's only
I just
one
wanted,
outstanding, and that would be, I think, the Lenape Band.
okay. Okay. And we're gonna vote on that, I guess, when it's
We
time.
can't do anything with the money.
Well, first they have to agree that they have that day open, right? Is that what you're
They
waiting
do.
for?
Oh, no,
okay.
they're ready to go.
Okay.
It's just we need to have the money.
I
before
gotcha.
we Can proceed and the board's approval.
Okay, thank you.
I did get the information for you for the photos. I didn't forget about that. So you have two different, well, there's multiple websites out there that do free photo storage, but the one that I thought might be the easiest to use is a website called EventPix. It gives you 2 gig storage for free, which is up to like normally around 500 cell phone photos. You can create an account. It'll automatically generate a QR code for you that you can print that people can scan. And then nobody has to have an account except for the person who's running the event. So people that are there can scan the QR code and upload directly to that website without having to create their own account. And then you'll have 4 weeks after the event ends to download all those images. And it gives everybody, it's a free service. You've got this whole like gallery of all the photos. The other thing you could do is, because you have the event email is a Gmail account, you can also use Google Photos as as part of the Google Drive, and people can, again, QR code scan it and it uploads. The only caveat with that is that the person uploading photos has to have a Google account. So if they don't, then they can't. The easier way may be the EventPix website, and I wrote it all down for you. It's very easy to use. You've got a look on your face, Paul.
I'm just trying to think through this because I'm thinking about my own Google Photos and how when people have the ability to upload them, it's usually a shared situation.
Yes. So
So they would potentially have access to other people's,
well,
in Google, I'm thinking.
so how you would set up a shared event album in Google
Yeah,
is you would create a folder in your
Right,
Google,
yeah.
right? So there's a folder that's specifically for the 250 event, right?
Mhm.
And then you create the link to get the QR code and you set the options for just that folder on collaborate and link sharing so that anybody at the event can upload their photos.
right. But they don't have the ability to access the folder besides uploading?
Correct.
Okay. That's actually the information that interests me more because I may have more available personal Google
Well, with this one, you would
space.
you get 15 gigs right off the bat with your email address, which is way more than you probably need.
Yeah, okay, that might be the way to do it and keep it out of my stuff.
Right, keep it, so, but they would have the ability to go into that album and see
Right.
all those photos. And so anybody that's sharing to these albums can see these photos. It's not, like they're gonna upload their photos and not be able to see who else uploaded.
Yeah, what I'd like to do is.
Can you use your microphone, please?
Yes,
Thanks.
thank you. Is to have a small sign or something, or maybe have the people who are hosting that
We
booth
should make up some signs.
is
Whatever.
to let people know if they post them to that, say, the event site, that they're giving permission for us to use it, because we might
Yes.
use selected ones to put on our website. But we want to be able to curate.
You would need to put a caveat at the bottom explaining that by uploading your photo to this document or this file, you are giving permission to the township to use them in whatever capacity the township sees fit.
And Tia, in the first option you talked about, what happens after 500 photos?
You run out of storage space and you can either upgrade for a small fee to get more storage space, and it's really not very expensive, or you're out of space. That's it. Right.
And that's also publicly accessible.
Yeah, so they use it a lot for weddings and birthday parties and things like that. So it becomes you're able to set up an event page with your own design and everything. So you design the page, you can do it all in red, white, and blue. You can have your logo, you can do whatever you want. And then you have the album and everybody would be able to see the images and click through. And then whoever has the account has the ability to download one massive, lump of all the photos at once.
Yeah, let's, if I could see the information about it, especially, I think I would prefer to check out the Gmail option simply because we would not be under time pressure to download the photos.
Well, I mean, you have a month. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I understand, but in my experience, things happen even when there's a lot of time available. And so you basically have to send them somewhere. You got to make sure that the township's ready to receive them.
Well,
Then
so
if we
with
have
that
15,
website, all you
Yeah.
have to do, like, you could download it to your personal laptop or download it right to a thumb drive and bring it over to the
Right.
township. It doesn't have to specifically go to a township computer. But it's totally up to you guys. I just gave you the information
Yeah.
because you asked me to, and you guys can.
Yeah, no, I'm just, I personally, given the way things occasionally work out, if I don't have time pressure and we get more space, it strikes me, I'd like to look into setting up the Gmail associated with the events email, and if we've got 15 gigs, not that I expect we'll get 500 photos, but we will not run up against the limit, and then we have just a little more flexibility in downloading them.
Like I said, totally up to you.
Yeah.
I'm just providing
Yeah, no,
information.
I like both ideas, but I just see a little more flexibility in the Gmail version, that's all. And I appreciate you for doing all that research.
Anything else, Nancy? Any other questions? This is great. Great. I love these kind of meetings. All right, so now we've done the agenda items for the meeting. We're going to work on public comments. And at this time, the board will welcome public comments on anything meeting attendees might want to share. Once again, I'm going to ask the commenters state their name and whether they are residents of the township or non-resident taxpayer. If you do not identify yourself, your comments will not be included in the official minutes. Each resident or non-resident taxpayer will have one opportunity to make a public comment. Comments should be directed to the board and not to an individual board member or member of the staff. The board will refrain from addressing your comments as they are being expressed, but instead at their discretion may comment at the end of the public comment section. Our silence should not be viewed as agreeing with what's being said. Okay, with that being said, is there any public comments? Go for it.
Hi, my name is Mike Zerker. I'm a resident of the township and taxpayer. So I wanted to comment on the fire company consolidation. First, I'm really encouraged to hear that you were able to slow down the whole process and to target an interim agreement. I think that's a great move. I would just suggest, based on personal experience with putting together multi-party governance agreements that are interim in nature, that you remain wary of what the process is from moving from the interim agreement governance model to the next step, and in particular, how that decision is made and what approvals are required. Because, so for example, you might be setting budgets by majority agreement of the townships, but you don't want to agree to move to another model simply by majority agreement. You would want that to be unanimous, I would expect. So just, from my own experience with subjects like that, to be wary of that. Hopefully, whichever township solicitor is drafting the agreement isn't playing with sharp elbows, but it does happen. And then my other comment on that is, I think it's such a fundamental change to what's happening in all of the townships affected in this part of the county, that I think there's a really great opportunity to engage the public in the process. And while, that wouldn't be, I'm not suggesting that that you all or any of the other township supervisors need the help. I think it is a great opportunity to give the public a chance to exercise their civic muscles, and to come together and, understand what's happening with government and be able to have an opinion about that, that goes beyond just, voting every couple of years. So, in this age where there's so much political polarization, it's a good idea to find a topic like this that isn't politically polarizing, that's just the nuts and bolts of government and shows people what government does for them and how people from both parties can come together to find consensus on difficult and complicated subjects, and also let the public see that the work that you're doing isn't simple. It's not straightforward. There's lots of nuance that has to be considered, and you guys are, more than earning your paychecks when you do this work. So again, I think it's a great opportunity just to show the public what happens inside government and give them a chance to participate. So if you need any volunteer help putting that together, I'm available. I'm involved with an organization called Bravery Angels, which brings together people from both sides of the political aisle to engage in public debate about polarizing topics. This would be an easy sort of thing to handle for the Bravery Angels group, and I'm happy to provide you some more information about them. It's a national organization. So thank you.
Oh, thanks, Mike. We'd love to help. I mean, we'll get in touch with you after and get your information. Okay.
I just wanted to assure you that through this entire process, one of the things that we've been harping on is public meetings.
Yeah.
So before anything, we're going to move into this temporary agreement, but before anything goes beyond that, there's multiple public meetings that have to happen where you guys have a chance to come up and talk to us and ask questions and hear exactly from both the fire companies and the municipalities where we are, what we're thinking. And then it's all about the public comment and the public feedback. So I think we last night talked about at least 3 different public meetings going forward.
Yeah, I think it depends on what models being chosen. I know with the
Right.
authority, there's quite a few, but I think, as we said, we're still learning early on.
Right.
But you're right. We're all happy that it's slowing it down, because when we first started, and I give the gentleman who put this together a lot of credit, because it's hard. You said you do a lot of stuff yourself. He had scheduled 4 meetings, and I think he thought he was going to have an answer in 4 meetings. And that scared we were scared to death. Like 4 meetings, we can't, it takes, how long is it going to take us to know? But I think reality set in. We got to take our time. We got to learn what's going on and what the ramification. And we have to listen to our residents too, right? This, like you said, it's going to impact them. So I'm glad it's slowing down. I'm glad we're going to give ourselves the time to gather the information and also engage the public. So,
And that's another reason that once this agreement's in place, having those meetings be public as we're moving forward, discussing the steps of moving into a new model, the public can be there. The public can be commenting the entire time. So that was one of the things, at least for me, that was super important going forward is, public meetings and transparency. So.
Mike, every meeting we mention this, and the other thing is we have a page on our website dedicated to this as well. So if there's other ways we can get the residents involved, we'll get and engage. We'll take it. Thanks.
any other public comments? All right, Paul, go for it.
Yeah, so I'm Paul Agassi. I'm a resident taxpayer. And my interest is that last meeting, there was talk about PennDOT moving forward with 896 without doing anything at 841, or at least without doing anything substantial at 841. And I was just wondering if there were any updates about that.
So not really. So you guys remember last year we had meetings regarding the PennDOT proposal, and part of the PennDOT proposal for that intersection was around about the headlighting on it. And we as a group said, we don't want to be responsible for the lighting. We are either the maintenance or any of that stuff that has to be associated with. And we went back and forth with PennDOT on that. And PennDOT was very clear, based on their rules and based on how they do their business, they are not responsible for it either. So we kind of went to loggerheads where we said, well, we're not going to approve it. Not really sure what was going to happen. They came back and said, would you agree to support I have to get the right words for, I don't know if support's the right words, but would you agree to have us have the project for everything else but 896 and that it stays as it is? Would you agree? And that we will deal with that later. And as a group, we agreed last week. Now, the interesting thing to know, though, is that, there's been a lot of work done behind the scenes where landowners have gotten money for land that would have been worked on to as part of the roundabout. They're not giving that up. So that will still stay in PennDOT's hands, and we're, who knows what will happen. I would think in the near term, it will stay as it is, but PennDOT may come back, will come back. I just don't know what the time frame is. So there's no intention for us to go back to PennDOT. It is what it is. But they'll do what they're going to do, but not do the roundabout.
Do you have any idea when they're actually going to start work?
We should know that.
Paul, they are continuing to have meetings. They would like to put that out to bid by the end of this year, beginning of next year. So we will be getting updates. So the idea would be they would proceed on the Route 896 corridor construction minus the roundabout at 896 and 841.
So I realize you don't have any specific things, but it does, to my mind, suggest sometime around late spring, depending upon when everything falls into place.
It could be, but just as we all know, PennDOT is an absolutely massive organization. It takes them a long time to turn the ship. So I'm in regular contact with Bruce Massey of PennDOT.
Right. No, I do understand. I've seen plenty of start dates already.
We'll let you know when Jeff knows. He'll let us know. But it's they've been working on this for years, right? Any other all right, go John.
While John's walking to the microphone, do you mind if I let Melissa Reinstatter go? Well, hold on.
Of course.
I have that on my list.
Melissa.
Thank you, Melissa Reinstatter. You can go if you wish. You're awesome. See ya.
See ya. Have a good night, everyone.
My name's Sean Auerbach. I'm a taxpayer and resident. I was a supervisor for 10 years, so I was involved directly in the whole 896, 841 situation. And one thing I wanted to say is that regardless of which way it goes, the traffic safety will not be compromised. The current system is entirely effective to managing the issues, because prior to that, there was no stop sign on 896. There was a stop sign on 841. And the accidents that happened were people blowing a stop sign on 841. Some horrific accidents there. And my friends Galligans live right on the corner, and they always came out to attend the accidents. In fact, the state police gave them a box of flares to go out there and mark the road every time something happened. So the thing that was developed with the four-way was not something that met PennDOT's standards. Because of the slope approaching the intersection, as you come southbound on 896, as you come over the crest of the hill, you see the intersection. But if there was a stop sign there, you wouldn't stop. You couldn't stop, especially trucks. So that's why they put in that extra stop sign at Den Road, so that people stop at the top of the hill. Then when they proceed over, they can see the stop sign. That wasn't their standard. They didn't like it, but they put it in. It has been entirely effective. I mean, the accidents there are minimal and they're little fender benders. They're not these horrific crashes that occurred there before. So that's the point I want to make is traffic safety won't be compromised, whether they build the roundabout or not. So.
Thanks, John. I don't know if I want to bring this up, but we actually tried to talk PennDOT into leaving it the way it was. So when they came back and said, oh, gee, pay for the lighting or we're not going to do anything, my reaction, I can't say it was on boards, but my reaction was, oh, what a shame. So it's, yeah, but if they come back to us, we'll figure it out. But right now, it's not going to happen. All right, well, thank you. Good meeting, an hour. We are good. Oh, I have to finish it. Oh, this is Jim's favorite part. All right, all right, here we go. So I make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting at 8:05. Can I have a second for that?
I'll second it.
All right, thanks, Jim. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. And we're good, 5-0. All right, thanks again for a good meeting. And thanks for coming in. Our favorite public.